Welcome back to From Post to Power, where we explore intersections of wellness, self expression, and the journeys that shape us. I'm your host, Tyla, and today's guest brings an incredible fusion of mindfulness and inner strength. Our mission here is to share stories of transformation. Today, we're joined by Sydney, who is the creator behind Astro by Sydney. Sydney embodies the kind of transformation we love to highlight. She made the leap from a career in finance in Canada to becoming a full-time yoga teacher living abroad in Bali to focus completely on wellness. Sydney, welcome to the show. Your journey from Canada to Bali is such a dream for so many of us. So let's start here. What made you take that leap? What made you decide to move over?
Oh, wow. Well, thank you for having me first off. It's lovely to connect and just meet like-minded people. And I started my journey, I think, as most of us do, just really wanting to make the most of my education, find a stable job, and have like a high-paying income and find the stability that I feel like we all long for. And that was
Yeah.
really great. I really, really enjoyed my time when I was working in finance. Um, but I actually just sort of had like a epiphany that I couldn't do this for a long time. And I had that epiphany actually right before COVID. I decided to pack up and move across the world, and that was before the borders closed. So it was
Oh,
almost
wow.
like intuition kicking in of like, hey, if you don't do this now, you might not be able to for the next 5 or 6 years. So it was really incredible, and I'm very happy that I did it.
Wow. And I feel like moving from finance to being a yoga teacher is such a huge shift. It's completely polar opposite fields. So, what would you say were the most significant mental or emotional hurdles that you had to overcome to make that crazy change in lifestyle and location?
Absolutely. Well, I think I always used yoga practices even when I was working in corporate because it's a stressful job. You really have to keep your
Yeah.
mental health like a priority by, keeping calm and finding work-life balance. So I was already using these tools. And then I think when I moved across the world, I didn't really know anyone as well. I kind of just moved. And so have a lot of
Yeah.
pressure of like making new friends and putting yourself out there again and almost like reinventing yourself. So I was doing a lot of walking meditations along the beach and a lot of breath work. And when COVID happened, I feel like I just had more time to develop these. And then that's when I finally was like, okay, I'm going to retake my teaching cert and focus on this because, again, the world was in lockdown and it just kind of seemed like the right thing to do at that time was just sort of go into more of the teaching aspect because I had been studying for a while.
Oh, that's awesome. And obviously, I can assume that coming from a career in finance, there must have been a lot of high pressure there. As you mentioned earlier on, you used meditation daily just to keep your mind afloat and just to keep you sane. So, what do you think that stressful finance environment taught you about mental health and how to apply your wellness practices in day-to-day stressful situations?
hmm And I think what I learned is all jobs are stressful, whether you are
Mm,
like a mom at home, whether you are working on the line, like, delivering packages or food to being in corporate, I think there's like all stress is stress regardless of what you're doing. And so I just kind of realized like mental health, and I say this a lot, mental health is not a luxury, like it is an essential for everybody. So I think
mm,
just, um, learning these things and doing yoga is not for like people who have free time or like this elite class thing. Like it really is for everybody to learn for themselves how to like actually get in touch with their body and their mind, whether you have 5 minutes or an hour.
And how do you feel that mindfulness and yoga specifically helped you during that major transition in your life? Do you feel like they served you more as an escape or more as a grounding tool?
In a way, I feel like this is an escape. Like always having this here is such an easy escape.
Mm,
We have our phones, we have mindfulness apps, or we have mindfulness that we can read about, et cetera, et cetera. But um, going within yourself, just being able to sit with you is never an escape. Even if you feel like it's pointless or you're not doing anything or your mind is running in circles and you can't even like formulate a thought or like there's too many thoughts in there, it's like still constructive to sit there and
yeah.
just be with yourself. So I feel like I encourage everybody, especially if it's difficult, to sit there and just be like, "Hey, what am I actually thinking? Like, what am I actually feeling inside?" You know?
Mm. No, definitely. I 100% agree that as much as social media is a tool that is useful, it's also so problematic. Like, I will start looking at my phone at like, let's say 3 p.m. and I'm scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. And before I know it, 2 hours have passed and I'm like, oh my goodness, where did all the time go? And I really think you need to set such strict boundaries with yourself as to where you're going to dedicate your time and what you're going to dedicate your time to. Because in that hour, I could have been grounding myself. I could have been practicing some breathing exercises. So it's really so important to set those boundaries for yourself when it comes to technology and social media as well.
I totally agree. And I think one of the things is like what you said is so key is like we don't even realize how much time has passed. Like,
Mm,
I don't know if we fully understand what our phones do to our brains when we're on them. Like, what part of our brain is turning off. Like, because I go on my phone with the intention to reply, to do something. And it's like, as soon as I open those socials, it's gone. And so I feel like we almost haven't even had our phones long enough to understand what our brains are actually doing because they're so flippin' addictive. Like, yeah, I have to really, really watch myself. And I'm still very guilty of overusing my phone. So it's difficult.
yeah. And I'm sure you can agree, as someone who runs a business, social media is key. So then you're faced with the dilemma as to how do I stay away from it, but also how do I make it useful in my day to day life? So what do you do? Do you set like timers for yourself? Do you have screen time apps where it'll turn off after a certain time?
I wish I had like a clear plan for myself. I feel like this is something I'm trying to work on at the moment is like consume versus create. I am way more consuming at the moment that I think it's really tricky to find that balance because we're trying to hop on trends or figure out what's
Mm,
trending on the algorithm. But I think the truth is like I do need a timer and I probably would really like a benefit from having that like, oh my God, you've spent 4 hours on your phone today. It would be like, oh my gosh, like do I check in? Like I probably do need to be more mindful in that respect. But I think, like for me, if I'm on my laptop for some reason, maybe this is just a millennial thing, but when I'm on my laptop doing work, I'm like 100 times more productive than on my cell phone. So maybe that's a life hack for us 90s babies. I don't know.
no, I think I'm exactly the same. I feel like our brains often associate a place and an object with a certain action. So, for example, for me, I try not to scroll on my phone in bed because I want my brain to associate bed with sleep. So, as soon as I get to bed, I'm closing my eyes. And also with my laptop, I never use my laptop to scroll. So, when I'm using it, it's for work only. So, no, I definitely get what you mean.
Yeah, I think the
And
association piece is so key, like you said.
yeah, no, definitely, definitely. And you are now in Bali, as you mentioned earlier. Bali is often seen as a spiritual destination. And I just wanted to ask how you feel the environment or the culture there has deepened your personal commitment to wellness.
Um, Bali is a special place, and anyone who has been here for can really testify to that. Like it has a very spiritual energy, often associated with healing. And I think one of the key things is people come here and they either have an amazing experience or they legitimately get kicked out of the country. And I mean like energetically rejected. It's often a place of breakups or trauma for some people. And um, I really think it's because Bali facilitates healing, whether it's shadow side or light side. You really have to be open to this energy of the fact that you're going to be different by the time you leave the country. Like it got a very, very powerful energy. Have you been to Bali? Have you been here before?
No, not yet, but it's definitely on my bucket list of places to visit.
So if you arrive and you come to Bali, my honest advice would be before you go party or do anything crazy, is take some time to really honor the island.
Mm,
Go and connect with the local people. Try to understand the Hindu culture because it's very much about honoring the earth and honoring the land. And there's also water purification ceremonies that you can do, which is like almost like cleansing your body of like the toxins and the energy that you're bringing in. So you're coming into
yeah.
Bali with like a new, fresh energy. And I found that to be very, very powerful. It is like a tourist thing to do, but I feel like it's a really great way to kind of like introduce yourself to kind of how the island runs because it's very much like you have to just let go of your expectations and sort of just roll with whatever happens. That is very much the energy of Bali. And when you try and push against that, it just doesn't work. Like you'll really hear either amazing stories, like I said, or people who are like, "It's a horrible place. I've never come back here." So it's all about your receptiveness, I think, to
Yeah.
wanting to change or sort of whatever's really going on inside is going to come through.
And obviously, Bali versus Canada, they are completely different in terms of lifestyle, in terms of day to day living, in terms of career fields. What was the biggest like culture shock for you when you moved over?
The biggest culture shock for sure was the fact that I had so many things in Canada. I had a beautiful apartment filled with beautiful things, and I had to have the
Mm,
perfect everything, right? Like the perfectly designed thing that, and the linens matched this, and the room was decorated, and it was just filled with stuff. And there's absolutely
yeah.
nothing wrong with that because I understand, like, that's so much part of our life and our understanding of what a home is. Um, and so I'm not judging at all, but I think when I left Canada, like now I have an apartment, yes, but m- my stuff fits into two suitcases. Like everything I own fits into
Wow.
two suitcases. So I just have way less things. And I think I didn't realize, but for me personally, I was associating some of my material stuff with like what my life looked like and like how I was
Mm,
valuing myself. And now I'm just like, I don't have as many things around me, but I take a lot more energy into like me and stock into myself. So it doesn't mean like I don't own anything. Like I still got nails on. I still like to dress nice, but I just have a lot less stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's not like going full hippie or anything. It's more just like having an appreciation for what you do actually have and I think I just realized I needed a lot less than I thought was
Yeah.
normal, I think in the Western countries.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like sometimes we do place our value in objects. So it's like that time old question, if your house was burning down, what are the first three things you're grabbing? And your mind starts racing with things because there's so many things. What do you even pick? What do you even choose? So I've even now tried to stop buying less stuff. And we as females, it's difficult. I would go to the store to buy bread and come home with the new sofa. And I don't, I don't know how it happens, but it just happens. And you need to tell yourself, I actually don't need more stuff. I have everything that I need. Everything is good. Everything is great. And you just get what you need and you keep on moving. So I definitely understand. I don't know how I would manage to put everything that I own into two suitcases. That probably wouldn't even be enough for my summer wardrobe. So I definitely get you.
Yeah. And like it's taken time to get there, but I think the big move, like moving, and I was like, I only have this much space. Like, what am I gonna bring? You know, I would have packed differently, don't get me wrong. Now that I'm here, I definitely would have gone like it's just clothes. So I can get new ones and etc. So yeah, it's a really humbling experience as well when you come to Bali and you just also see the energy of everyone around you and how happy everyone is, and the vibe is so high, and the culture is so giving and generous. Like I think the locals here, they never hesitate to be kind or to help, and they
Mm.
have less, but they genuinely have so much more. And so for me, it was like, whoa, I am so backwards. I really need to like sort my priorities out here. So that was a big hint for me too.
Yeah. And what does a typical day in the life look like for you? Walk me through it from morning to when you put your head down to sleep. What does that look like?
Gosh, every day is different at the moment. It's actually very different now because we're heading into rainy season. So what used to be like 8 hours of sun plus is now like we're getting about 5 or 6 because it's raining like almost every single afternoon. Like not like a little rain, like thunderstorm. You cannot leave your house because it's flooding rain. So all my daily activities are now like condensed in the morning. But at the moment for me, I'm waking up early. I'm doing my sun salutations in the morning, trying to get out and get the sun while we have it. And then usually going right into work, whether that's editing or I might have a reading that day or shooting and doing some stuff with my partner. So it all just kind of depends on the day. But yeah, at the moment they're very condensed and very busy in the mornings and then resting more in the afternoons and sort of like regrouping. And I think that even in a hot country like Bali, that season change, you still feel it. So for us right now, it's like Scorpio season. We're going to be heading into winter. I guess in Australia it is summer, but it's more of an internal time, I feel, where we're kind of, for me personally at least, going very inward and really reflecting and trying to make the most of the last months of the year. Like really trying to get stricter on like morning routines. What am I accomplishing throughout the day and sort of like where my head is at so I can get myself in the right mindset basically for 2026 is how I'm kind of seeing the rest of this year.
Yeah. And you mentioned that your passion is rooted in mental health and fitness. So, how do you, as a yoga teacher, use the physical practice and directly address and support your students' mental health and well being?
Well, them just showing up is a win. And I think that's important. It's not even so much the flow, it's just like I've showed up for myself I've done some type of meditation. I have moved my body. I have said some nice words to myself that are loving and kind. Like all of those are wins. And I try to tell people, especially like my clients, it's like one physical win, one mental win, one spiritual win, and one like emotional or like that's all you need. If you get those four in one day, like you're doing a lot. So that's kind of what I aim to do. It's like, if you can get 3 out of 4 done in 2 hours, like you're doing amazing, right?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like those small wins help us a lot. It gives us that boost just to know that at least something is going right. Whether everything is falling apart, at least you know, okay, I've done 3 things for myself today that have benefited my mental health. And we talk about from pose to power. That's what our podcast is called. And for you, what does the word power mean in the context of wellness and mindfulness? Do you feel like it's physical strength, mental clarity, or something else? What does power mean to you?
First thing I thought of actually was the Manipura chakra, which is our third chakra. So it represents the sun in astrology, and it's our center of digestion, confidence, and ability to take action. So we always know when we're doing well because our digestion will be working. We'll be feeling good, like as in not bloating, body feels healthy and light. Our sun center is on, meaning that we're like glowing and we have our internal light is turned on. We're confident, radiant, and feel like we can take action. When
Mm.
the solar plexus in Manipur is moving properly, that's the energy that goes through. And so to me, that's power because that is individual. Every single one of us has access to that. And it all looks different, but there's always signs when that sun, like that energy center is moving. So for me, those are like the big ones.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that is a great way to define power. And Sydney, what is one simple mindfulness technique that you can teach us, whether it's something that you learned in Bali specifically or through your teaching, that you could recommend a busy, stressed out person can practice anywhere, anytime?
Yeah. Easiest one to think of is the breath controls the body. So when our breath is calm, our mind is calm. So I always like if I'm really like just out of my mind or the day is stressful, I'm just like can't focus or too focused is inhalation breath. So literally just breathing in as deep as you can in through the nose and exhale it out through the mouth. Like letting that go and like physically you feel it, energetically you feel it, and you do that 3 to 5 times. You could do that without leaving your desk, you can do that anywhere, and just really taking a moment for yourself is massive.
No, I'll definitely give that a try because it's easy, it's convenient. You can do it literally in your car. You could do it in your office, anytime, any place. Sydney, this has been such an incredible little peek into what life is like on the other side of the world. Before we wrap up, where can our listeners connect with you and follow your journey, especially if they want to learn more about Astro by Sydney?
Yeah, so my Instagram is like you said, Astro by Sydney, and it's astro.by.sydney on Instagram. And then my partner and I, we also have a wellness page together. So it's called Original Source. So it's more couple focused, but more like practical educational techniques as well. So yeah, that's where you can find me.
Okay, awesome, awesome. We'll definitely check it out and see what you have to offer. And if you could leave our audience with just one thought, one piece of advice about finding the courage to pursue their own version of power, what would you share?
I love that question, first off. And secondly, I think what I said before, I say it all the time to my clients, it is mental health is not a luxury, it is a necessity. And it is true for everybody. So just remember you are a part of that and that applies to you. You're worthy of it, so take it.
Sydney, thank you so, so much for joining us and sharing your incredible story. To our community, stay grounded, stay curious, and remember, begins with presence. Until next time on From Pose to Power. Bye. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.